on BBC Two.
Now on BBC Two, the climax to this year's tournament, the grand final of Mastermind.
And welcome to the grand final of Mastermind 2003. For this special occasion, we've come out of the studio to the Lowry, the magnificent arts complex that has helped turn Salford into one of Europe's leading cultural centres. How it's changed. This steel and glass building is at the heart of the redeveloped Salford Quays. The Lowry is home to 2 state-of-the-art theatres and extensive collections of contemporary art, plus, of course, the works of Salford's most famous son, L.S. Lowry. So this is the splendid venue for our grand final. Please welcome the finalists themselves. And they are Geoffrey Thomas, a retired lecturer from Cheshire, and his specialist subject is the life and works of Marc Chagall. Our second finalist is Andy Page, a civil servant from Merseyside, and his subject is the golfing majors since 1970. Our third finalist, Darren Martin, an IT consultant from Chorley, and his subject, the life and music of Jim Morrison. And finally, the winner of our runners-up quarter-final, Ian Pickering, an accounts assistant from Cheshire, taking as his subject the life and career of Charles Rennie Mackintosh. So each of them will be in the hot seat for the third time tonight. 2 minutes on their specialist subject and 2 minutes on general knowledge, of course. Today's winner will take home this glass trophy and, much more importantly, the honour of becoming Mastermind Champion 2003. So the scene is set, and may I ask our first finalist to come and join us, please. And your name is?
Geoffrey Thomas.
Occupation?
Retired lecturer.
And your chosen subject?
The life and works of Marc Chagall.
Marc Chagall in 2 minutes, starting now. In Chagall's homage to Apollinaire, whose name with that of Apollinaire Canudo and Cendras appears round the heart?
Rothwalden.
Correct. According to Chagall's autobiography, My Life, which dancer studied alongside him under Leon Bakst in St. Petersburg?
Nijinsky.
Correct. The ramshackle settlement for Bohemian artists on the outskirts of Paris, into which Chagall moved from the Impasse du Main, was known by what name?
La Ruche.
Correct. After his wife Bella's death in 1944, Chagall revived his 1933 canvas Circus People, cutting it in half and calling the right side the wedding candles. What did he call the new picture made from the left half?
Around Her.
Correct. After the Russian Revolution, Chagall designed sets and costumes at the Jewish Theatre for 3 short plays based on stories by which writer?
Sholem Aleichem.
Correct. With which master printmaker did Chagall learn etching and engraving techniques in Berlin after leaving Russia in 1922?
Hermann Struck.
Correct. The stained glass window at the United Nations headquarters in New York, which symbolizes man's struggle for peace, commemorates which former UN Secretary General?
Dag Hammarskjöld.
Correct. What was the name of the son of another artist who acted as Chagall's main New York dealer in the 1940s?
Pierre Matisse.
Correct. The first performance of the production of Aleco, for which Chagall had designed sets and costumes, was given in which country that Chagall had enjoyed visiting whilst working on the project?
Mexico.
Correct. What is the rabbi doing in the 1912 Chagall work whose French titles include La Prise?
He's praying.
No, he's taking a pinch of snuff. In the 1941 painting, The Descent from the Cross, what replaces the INRI inscription?
The Ten Commandments.
No, the artist's name. In 1945, Chagall designed the backdrops and costumes for a New York City ballet production of which ballet by Igor Stravinsky?
Firebird.
Correct. In the early picture Birth, who suggested that the stomach of the woman who'd given birth should be bandaged?
Leon Bakst.
No, Chagall's mother. What was the name of the village in Provence where Chagall and Bella lived in 1940 before fleeing from France and where he painted the Red Cock?
Gordes.
Correct. For which English cathedral did Chagall design a stained glass window that was inspired, I started so I shall finish, that was inspired by the theme of Psalm 150, let everything that has breath praise the Lord?
Chichester.
Chichester is correct. You passed on none of those questions, Geoffrey Thomas. You scored a total of 12 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Andy Page.
Occupation?
Civil servant.
And your chosen subject tonight?
Golf's 4 majors since 1970.
2 minutes on that, starting now. On which course did Lee Trevino win the second of his back-to-back Open Championships in 1972?
Muirfield.
Correct. When John Daly and Constantino Rocca tied for the 1995 Open Championship at St Andrews, which British player tied for third place, only 1 stroke behind?
Stephen Bottomley.
Correct. Who won his only major when he beat John Mahaffey in a playoff for the 1975 US Open at Medina?
Lou Graham.
Correct. Whose first major victory came in the Centenary United States Open of 1995 at Chinook Hills?
Corey Pavin.
Correct. Which golfer's only major championship win came in the 1992 US Open, which he won after more than 20 attempts?
Tom Kite.
Correct. What was the name of Ian Woosnam's caddy who failed to spot that there were too many clubs in the bag during the 2001 Open Championship, costing Woosnam a 2-stroke penalty?
Miles Byrne.
Correct. In 1995, Mark O'Meara became the first defending champion to miss the cut in the Open Championship since which other American 9 years before?
Mark Calcavecchio.
Correct. In 2002, which New York course became the first publicly owned course to stage a major championship in the United States?
Beth Page.
Correct. Which Australian won the 1979 US PGA after a last round of 65 and the 1981 US Open after a last round of 67?
David Graham.
Correct. In 1979, which golfer became the first since Gene Sarazen in 1935 to win the US Masters on his first appearance?
Fuzzy Zoeller.
Correct. Who made history with a birdie in the third round of the 92 US Open, thus becoming the first player ever to go to 10 under par in the tournament?
Gil Morgan.
Correct. The 2003 champion Jim Furyk joined Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, and which other player in holding the record of 272 for the lowest 72-hole score in the US Open?
Lee Janzen.
Correct. Which Briton finished runner-up in the Open Championships of both 1974 and 1982?
Peter Uterhouse.
Correct. Whom did Tiger Woods beat in a 3-hole playoff for the 2000 US PGA at Valhalla?
Bob May.
Correct. Whose only major wins were the US Open in 73 and the Open Championship in 76?
Ronnie Miller.
Correct. Which Australian won his first major when he defeated Colin Montgomery in a playoff to win the 95 US PGA at Riviera?
Steve Elkington.
That is correct. You passed on none of those questions, Andy Page. You scored 16 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Darren Martin,
Occupation?
IT consultant.
And your specialist subject tonight?
The life and music of Jim Morrison.
Jim Morrison in 2 minutes, starting now. In July 1965, Morrison sang the words of a song to Ray Manzarek on Venice Beach, convincing him that they should form a rock band together. Which song?
Moonlight Drive.
Correct. At which New Orleans venue did Morrison make his last live appearance with the Doors in December 1970?
The Warehouse.
Correct. Morrison, who excelled at school, was measured at having an IQ of what?
149.
Correct. Parts of Morrison's poem, The Celebration of the Lizard, were incorporated into the lyrics of which Doors song?
Not to Touch the Earth.
Correct. Which documentary film about the band, directed by Morrison, was premiered in June 1969?
Feast of Friends.
Correct. After 5 months of rehearsing, at which club in Los Angeles did the Doors make their first public appearance together in 1966?
London Fog.
Correct. What was the name of the 1970 recording of Morrison's poetry released as an album in November 1978 after the surviving band members had added music?
An American Prayer.
Correct. Which 1979 film featured the song The End on its soundtrack and thus began a Doors revival 8 years after Morrison's death?
Apocalypse Now.
Correct. Which other electro recording artist persuaded the label boss Jack Holzman to go and see the Doors perform and then to sign them up?
Arthur Lee.
Correct. Who was the author of The Doors of Perception, the book from whose title Morrison took the band's name?
Aldous Huxley.
Correct. Which phrase taken from the slogan for the household cleaner Ajax did Morrison include at the end of his song Touch Me?
Stronger Than Dirt.
Correct. What was the name of the bar pictured on the back sleeve of the Doors' 1970 album Morrison Hotel?
Hard Rock Cafe.
Correct. In which city was Morrison arrested and charged with breach of the peace in December 67 for publicly criticizing the police who'd sprayed mace in his face?
New Haven, Connecticut.
Correct. Which record label did the Doors originally sign to before obtaining a release to allow them to join Elektra in 1966?
Columbia.
Correct. Which perfect anagram of his name did Morrison incorporate into the lyrics of L.A. Woman?
Mr. Mojo Rising.
Correct. At which Miami auditorium was Morrison arrested in March 69 for lewd and lascivious behavior in public?
Dinner Key.
Correct. As well as a $500 fine, what sentence was handed down for the Miami profanity and exposure felony?
He got 6 months and 60 days to run concurrently.
And that was also correct. Darren Martin, you passed on no questions. You have scored 17 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Ian Pickering.
Occupation?
Accounts assistant.
And your chosen subject?
Charles Rennie Mackintosh.
Charles Rennie Mackintosh in 2 minutes, starting now. Which firm of architects did Mackintosh join as a draftsman in 1889, becoming a partner in 1904?
Honeyman and Kepi.
Correct. The words, "There is hope in honest error, none in the icy perfection of the mere stylist," which are often quoted as a motto by Mackintosh, were originally spoken by which architect?
Norman Shaw.
No, J.D. Sedding. Which former professor and continuing friend of Mackintosh was a judge in the competition for the Glasgow School of Art building?
Francis Newbury.
Correct. What was the name of the periodical created by Lucy Rayburn at the Glasgow School of Art, to which Mackintosh contributed several artistic works?
The magazine.
Correct. In his German language interpretation of British domestic architectural design, Das Englische Haus, who devoted a whole chapter to the work of Mackintosh?
Herman.
Correct. The guest bedroom at Derngate was featured in which style magazine in August 1920?
The Journal.
No, Ideal Home. In 1908, Mackintosh visited which Portuguese village near Lisbon, where he made some botanical drawings?
Pass.
Mackintosh designed Hill House in Helensburgh for which publisher, completing the work in 1904?
Walter Blackie.
W.W. Blackie, yes, correct. To which village in Suffolk did Mackintosh move in 1914 to seek new inspiration for his drawing and painting?
Walberswick.
Correct. Which reddish stone was used for the Scotland Street School in Kingston, Glasgow, built between 1904 and 1906?
Sandstone.
Dumfriesshire stone, correct. In 1903, Mackintosh entered the competition to design which cathedral, his design being remarkably similar to that of the winner?
Liverpool.
Correct. In 1891, Mackintosh began a series of lectures to the Glasgow Architectural Association. What was the subject of his first lecture?
Scotch baronial architecture.
Correct. What nickname is given the glazed gallery connecting the fourth-floor studios in the Glasgow School of Art?
The Hen Run.
Correct. Mackintosh's first built work for Honeyman and Kepi is generally considered to be the tower of which building in Mitchell Street, Glasgow?
Pass.
After 1906, the only major publication to present Mackintosh's work was the 1907 yearbook of the studio, which showed part of the Hill House and House Hill at Nitz Hill, the residence of whom?
Catherine Cranston and John Cochrane.
Correct. You got that in. If people didn't hear, it was Catherine Cranston. It was the correct answer. You passed on 2 questions. Mackintosh's first built work for Honeyman and Kepi, the Glasgow Herald Building, now the Lighthouse, and the place that Mackintosh visited in 1908 that inspired him to do some botanical drawings was Sintra in Portugal. Ian Pickering, 2 passes, you've scored a total of 11 points. And that brings us to the end of the specialist subjects round in our final tonight, and pretty close it is too. Let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place on 11 points is Ian Pickering. In 3rd place on 12 points is Geoffrey Thomas. 2nd place on 16 points, Andy Page. In the lead with 17 points, Darren Martin. So we move on to round 2 now, our general knowledge round. And remember, if there's a tie at the end of this round, which is entirely possible, then the number of passes will be taken into consideration, and the contender with the fewest passes will be declared the winner. If there's still a tie on points, then there will be a 5-question playoff. So let's get on with the general knowledge round, and may I first have Ian Pickering again, if he would please. And you scored 11 points with your knowledge of Charles Rennie Mackintosh, Mr. Pickering. So let's now move on to the general knowledge section and see how you do there, see how many points you can add to your 11. You have 2 minutes, starting now. To which novel was Oscar Wilde referring when he said one must have a heart of stone to read the death of Little Nell without laughing?
The Old Curiosity Shop.
Correct. In the ancient walls of which city are there 7 open gates, including the Lion's Gate, the Dung Gate, and the Jaffa Gate?
Rome.
No, Jerusalem. What's the nickname of Mozart's Symphony No. 35 in D major after the name of the family for whom it was written?
Pass.
Which cliff-nesting seabird protects its young by ejecting a foul-smelling, oily liquid at intruders?
The Guillemot.
The Fulmar. What was the nickname of the Spanish communist leader Dolores Ibarrio, who earned a reputation as an orator during the Spanish Civil War?
Rosa Luxemburg.
La Passionaria, the passion flower. In Norse mythology, which god who could change his shape and sex was chained to a rock as punishment for causing the death of Balder?
Loci.
Correct. Where, according to the title of the song which entered the UK charts in 1965, did Tony Bennett leave his heart?
San Francisco.
Correct. In gardening, what word describes the process of spreading manure or straw around plants in order to retain moisture and prevent the growth of weeds?
Potting.
No, mulching. The Sunnis are followers of one of the 2 main branches of Islam. What name is given to followers of the other?
Shiite.
Correct. Which Austrian driver in 1970 became the only man to win the World Motor Racing Championship posthumously?
Jochen Rindt.
Correct. What was the meaning of the Anglo-Saxon word unread, from which King Ethelred got his epithet the unready?
Undecided.
No, ill-advised. Whose debut novel, The Collector, was adapted for a film starring Terence Stamp, which was released in 1965?
John Fowles.
Correct. Who stood as an independent candidate in the 1992 US presidential election, gaining 19% of the vote and standing again for the Reform Party in 1996?
Ross Perot.
Correct. Players at which European football club are known as Galacticos?
Real Madrid.
Correct. In which Italian port does a marble column mark the end of the Appian Way?
Genoa.
No, it's Brindisi, or Brindisi, if we prefer. So you passed on one question, the nickname of Mozart's Symphony No. 35 in D major, the Hafner Symphony. You have scored now with your 11 earlier points, Ian Pickering, a total of 19 points.
Yep.
And would Geoffrey Thomas come and join us now, please? And 12 points with Chagall. You now have the general knowledge 2 minutes, which begins now. What name, apparently derived from a classic Monty Python sketch, is given to junk mail on the internet?
Spam.
Correct. The 2003 film The Truth About Charlie, starring Tandy Newton, is a remake of which 63 film starring Audrey Hepburn?
Gerard.
Correct. In Harold Wilson's Labour government, which daughter of a Scottish miner became Britain's first Minister for the Arts?
Jenny Lee.
Correct. What was the name of the American nuclear-powered submarine which passed beneath the North Pole in 1958?
Nautilus.
Correct. What were the 5 guys collectively named in the title of the hit musical that was attributed to jazz bluesman Louis Jordan?
5 guys named Mo.
Correct. Which financier in the 1560s founded the Royal Exchange to provide a convenient meeting place for merchants and bankers?
Gresham.
Correct. Which classic novel opens, Miss Brooke had that kind of beauty which seems to be thrown into relief by poor dress?
Middlemarch.
Correct. Which sporting competition, originally called International Winter Sports Week, was first held in the French resort of Chamonix?
The Winter Olympics.
Correct. Which composer named his Symphony No. 4 in C minor of 1816 the Tragic Symphony?
Mendelssohn.
No, Schubert. A cold current in the Pacific Ocean, a large glacier in Greenland are named after which German explorer and naturalist?
Humboldt.
Correct. What name is given to an auction in which the asking price is gradually lowered until a buyer is found?
Dutch auction.
Correct. What colour is the centre of an archery target?
Gold.
Correct. Meaning the way of gods. What is the indigenous Japanese religious tradition?
Shinto.
Correct. Which Hellenistic school of philosophy was founded by Zeno of Citium, who lived from about 334 to 262 BC?
Stoics.
Correct. Which country aligned itself with Germany and Austria-Hungary in 1914 but remained neutral in the Second World War until February 45 when it declared war on Germany?
Bulgaria.
No, Turkey. Which city and river port lies 900 miles inland from the Atlantic coast and is the capital of the Brazilian state of Amazonas?
Manaus.
Correct. In which television western series about adventures on a cattle drive to Kansas did Clint Eastwood first find stardom as Rowdy Yates?
Cheyenne.
No, Rawhide. Which singer-songwriter duetted with Sting? started so I'll finish. Which singer-songwriter duetted with Sting on the single Rise and Fall, released in April 2003?
Paul McCartney.
No, good guess, Craig David. Geoffrey Thomas, you had no passes in that round. You have now, with your 12 earlier points, a total of 26 points. And now, Andy Page, if he'd come and join us, please. And you are very much in the running here, 16 points with your specialist subject. We now have the general knowledge section, 2 minutes, starting now. Who was the Liberal Prime Minister of Britain 4 times between 1868 and 1894?
Gladstone.
Correct. Who starred as the eccentric piano teacher Madame Susatska in the 1988 film of that name?
McLean.
Correct. To which 18th century French writer are the words, "I disapprove of what you say, but I will defend to the death your right to say it," attributed?
Voltaire.
Correct. Who in 1984 succeeded Sir John Betjeman as poet laureate, remaining in the post until his death in 1998?
Ted Hughes.
Correct. Which country's fleet was effectively destroyed by a British force at the Battle of Cape Matapan in March 1941?
Germany.
Italy. Which singer who died aged 33 in 1996 achieved posthumous fame with the albums Songbird and Time After Time?
Eva Cassidy.
Correct. Lee Bank, Lozells and Ladywood are all suburbs of which English city?
Birmingham.
Correct. What word from the Latin word tertius, meaning third, is given to a male hawk?
Pass.
What is the alternative common name for Sydenham's chorea, a nerve disorder causing irregular muscle spasms?
Pass.
Bach's Sixth Concerti Grossi, completed in 1721, are known by what name after the German Margrave to whom they were dedicated?
Brandenburg Concertos.
Correct. What was the name of the French National Assembly, which did not meet from 1614 until 1789, when it met for the final time?
Estates General.
Correct. In Alice's Adventure in Wonderland, who or what did Alice find sitting on top of a giant mushroom and smoking a hookah?
Caterpillar.
Correct. Which porcelain, first produced in 1710, is hallmarked with crossed blue swords?
Spode.
No, Meissen. In which constellation is the northern pole star Polaris?
Sirius.
Ursa Minor. Named after a son of George III, which city was laid out by United Empire loyalists in 1785 as the capital of New Brunswick?
Pass.
According to the book of Genesis, whom did Jacob describe as being a hairy man while calling himself a man with smooth skin?
Esau.
Correct. Which European country voted its monarchy out of existence on the 8th of September 1946, thus making Simeon II its last king?
Bulgaria.
Correct. Which general... I started the question, so I'll finish it. Which general who commanded the Federal Army during the late stages of the American Civil War became the 18th American president in 1869?
Ulysses S. Grant.
And that is also correct. Andy Page, you had 3 passes in that round. The city named after a son of George III was Fredericton. The alternative common name for Sydenham's chorea is St. Vitus Dance. The word from the Latin word tertius given to a male hawk is tercel. You have now, with your first round total of 16 points, Andy Page a total of 28 points. And now, finally, Darren Martin, if he would, please. And there really is everything to play for here. Darren Martin, 17 points. You're leading as we speak, but there's a little way to go, of course. 2 minutes, general knowledge, starting now. The peach and the apricot are generally thought to have originated in which country?
Iran.
China. What title was used by the ruler of Egypt from 1867 to 1914, who governed as a viceroy of the Ottoman Sultan?
Caliph.
The Khedive. Who was the subject of the marble statue on display at the Guildhall in London, which a member of the public decapitated in July 2002?
Maggie Thatcher.
Correct. Who was Pope from 63 to 78, when on his deathbed he was succeeded by John Paul I?
John the 23rd.
Paul VI. Which jazz musician was the subject of Clint Eastwood's film Bird?
Charlie Parker.
Correct. With which fashion designer did the pop entrepreneur Malcolm McLaren jointly open a punk clothes shop in the King's Road, Chelsea?
Vivian Westwood.
Correct. Which treaty of March 1918 between Soviet Russia, Germany and Austria-Hungary effectively saw the end of Russian involvement in World War I?
Brest-Litovsk.
Correct. In the International Morse code, the numbers 0 to 9 are each indicated by a sequence of how many dots and or dashes?
5.
Correct. Peter II, who went into exile when the Germans invaded in 1941, was the last king of which country?
Romania.
Yugoslavia. Which animals travel in mobs under the leadership of an old man or boomer?
Kangaroo.
Correct. What term is used for the insertion of strips of pork, fat or bacon into meat to prevent it from drying out?
Basting.
No, larding. According to Byron, in his epic poem Don Juan, the English winter ends in July to recommence in which month?
August.
Correct. Which actress secretly married her second husband, Sam Mendes, in the Caribbean in June 2003?
Pass.
In which book of the Old Testament are the Ten Commandments first mentioned?
Genesis.
Exodus. Which weight in British imperial measures is equal to 50.8 kilograms?
100-weight.
Correct. Which island is separated from the Kintyre Peninsula by the Kilbrannan Sound?
Mull.
No, Aaron. Which club were the last championships of the old First Division of the Football League before the introduction of the Premier League?
Leeds.
Leeds United is the correct answer. Darren Martin, you passed on one question. The actress who secretly married her second husband, Sam Mendes, in June of 2003 was Kate Winslet. You had 17 points. You now have 26. Well, at the end of a very tense general knowledge round, let's have a look at the scores. In fourth place, with 19 points, Ian Pickering. In third place, with 26 points and 1 pass, Darren Martin. In second place, with 26 points and no passes, Geoffrey Thomas. But the winner of Mastermind 2003, with 28 points, is Andy Page. Well, what a close contest that was. And to present the award, a man who has himself sat in the black chair, Adam Hart Davis. Though you didn't quite get to take away the glass bowl.
No, well, I
Not
thought
quite.
that would have been unfair, you know, to use the boundless recesses of my brain. And no, I lost. They made the general knowledge questions more difficult for me.
Did they?
Yes.
Quite right.
Talk to the producer.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll bear that
I
in
tell you
mind.
one thing, it's a lot easier sitting in the audience than sitting in that chair. You come across here on the black floor and the lights go down and you forget your name. It's as though a sort of shield comes down in front of your brain. It's terrifying.
They didn't.
No, well, they're geniuses, you know. I'm very glad I wasn't competing, because I would have got about 4 in total.
Well, let's hand over the award.
Right, well, here we go. This magnificent glass bowl, which I mustn't drop, I believe, Andy, it was you. Your unshakable knowledge of, what was it?
Golf.
Golf, oh, that's right, yes. Yes. That, you know more about golf. Well, I can't even spell golf, you know. I was absolutely stunned. Congratulations, I was really, really impressed. You better not shake hands. Well done. That was brilliant.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed Mastermind this year. Congratulations to Andy. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. If you'd like to be a future contestant on Mastermind, then please write to Mastermind, BBC Manchester, Oxford Road, PO Box 27, Manchester, M60 1SJ.
It's supposed to be clever.